Good morning, writers. My name is Elora Gunn, and today we're going to be talking about 7 questions to ask your critique partners. If you are a new or aspiring writer, click that subscribe button below and also follow me on my socials, and the links are in the description. Let's get started. I cannot stress enough how important it is for you to work with other writers as critique partners. Unlike beta readers, your critique partners will be the first people to read your completed manuscript. Before any of the polishing, before any of the fixing up and real deep rewriting. Your critique partners get to see your book buck-ass naked, and so they'll be able to help point out every little mole and blemish for you to find and fix. And typically, as you work with critique partners, you will not be paying each other for the pleasure of going over your books. Usually, you'll exchange manuscripts as a way to help each other kind of tit for tat. And when they've completed your book and they've left all of their little notes and comments along the way, before you release them, there are some questions that you're going to want to ask them. Number 1, do the characters feel believable? You're going to be asking your beta readers and other readers this question as well before you publish, but your critique partners are going to take the first stab at it. As a fellow writer, they'll be able to spot some of the common mistakes that are a little bit deeper than the surface level of do they like the character or not. And they should also have some advice for how you can fix those issues before you get even deeper into writing. Because every writer has weaknesses and strengths that are different from yours, and they're going to have an easier time spotting your weaknesses with your characters. So you're going to want to check with them on if there's anything that they've noticed with your characters that seems to be missing. Any backstory that they need to know about, any mannerisms that you just kind of dropped halfway through, all of the little things that are going to make the characters feel more human. And number 2 question is, does the storytelling flow from one scene to the next, or from one chapter to the next? Again, as a fellow writer, they have a more intimate knowledge of what the bare bones of a story and storytelling structure should look like. Where, for example, a beta reader might just be able to tell you that they just felt like there was something missing from that chapter. A critique partner would be able to tell you that you didn't have the scene last long enough, that there wasn't enough time and emphasis put on the main character emotionally reacting to a plot point. And on that note, number 3, were there any plot holes that you noticed? Just like helping you with the flow of the different scenes, a critique partner is going to be able to help you spot if there were any holes in the storytelling. Did you forget to continue that side plot about the main character's mother's necklace that she found? Don't worry, your critique partner is going to point it out to you. Did your main antagonist's sidekick vanish halfway through the book with no explanation? Your critique partner is going to ask about them. Question number 4 is, did I leave out any important details? Was your main character on a quest to avenge the deaths of their family that they missed so much, but then you conveniently forgot to give their little sister that they think about all the time, say, a name? Was their best friend supposedly dying from some horrible, incurable disease that miraculously healed halfway through the book? Your critique partner is going to notice these things and remind you of them. Question number 5. Was the hook strong enough? I am notoriously bad at starting my books too soon in the story. But luckily, I have fantastic critique partners that are good at telling me that the beginning was way too slow and that we can cut off probably a whole day's worth of scenes. So make sure that you ask your critique partners about the hook of your story in the beginning if it was strong enough. Especially if you plan to traditionally publish and are going to query an agent, you need to have the hook in the beginning of your story as strong as possible. Because if nothing significant happens for the first 10 chapters of your book, you want your critique partner to let you know about that. And number 6, did the ending feel complete? Once again, this is something that you're going to be asking your beta readers. However, it can be difficult to get good beta readers. Finding a couple good beta readers can be kind of difficult. So before you send it off to them and potentially lose some because it's just not ready yet, make sure that you have your critique partners take a quick glance, at the very least, at how your story wraps up. And again, a good critique partner is going to help you know if you really did nail that ending, if it feels complete, or if possibly you need another scene in there at the end to really round it all out. And number 7, the last thing you're going to want to ask your critique partners is, what books or movies or stories would you compare to my book now that you've read it? Because you never want to lose the opportunity to have somebody else with a fresh set of eyes help you figure out your comp books. Finding good comp books or comparison books to your story is really hard because you as the author are about this close to it, so you can't really look at it objectively. But for a critique partner or some other reader, it's going to be a lot easier for them to be looking at it from this far and go like, oh yeah, that's exactly like this other book that I read and I really liked it. So ask them. Eventually, no matter if you go traditional publishing or self-publishing or indie or what have you, you're going to need those comp titles, either for your agent that you want to query or to the readers so that you can give them a taste of what to expect and what kind of readership that might be drawn to your book. So make sure that you have that discussion with them so that you can get a good outsider's opinion on what you could compare your story to. And that's it for this week. Now go get writing, and I'll see you next week with another video of helpful tips.